Yo! What? Oh. The little cut in the song made me think I'd messed with the audio of stream somehow. Oh, and there it goes again. Okay. Hopefully not. Hopefully everything's gonna be chill today, but we'll see. You know. Never really know. I have question. Go for question, Greg. Begin questing. What's up? Why is the date entitled tomorrow's date? Is it tomorrow's date? I might have gotten it wrong. The answer is 42. Let's see. Oh, you're right. I thought it was the 7th. It is the 6th. I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't want to have to. Hello, Kuro. Good to see you. Yeah, I don't want to put a big spoiler tag on the entire stream, so I'm not gonna talk about it in depth. But there was a big event yesterday. I was very excited for. That was like everyone's like it's coming on the 6th, but because of time zones, it happened for me on the 5th. So time zone's fun. But yeah, if there's anyone else who knows what I'm talking about, shush. But you know, it was fun. It was neat. I just don't want to spoil the thing for people. But hello, Riku. Hello, Greg. Hello, Kuro. I hope y'all are having a great time. I am going to be working on my cartoon more. I genuinely do not work on this enough. I really just need to hunker down and get to it, you know? You just woke up? Honestly, I say lucky Greg, because I wish I had legitimately slept all day. Not for lack of trying. But I had said a thing, because, full disclosure, I was having some bad times towards the start of this week. You know, like, many more stories, Cahill. Listen, I'm getting to it. frog in my throat. Literally. He's hopping away now. There he goes. But yeah, I mean, I like the part where in One Piece. I like the part when One Piece is real. But yeah, towards the start of this week, I was just having a bad time all around. And I kind of, somewhat prematurely, was saying I was gonna cancel stream because of that. But I decided against that. And dearest Paula in Discord was like, I mean, hey, if you genuinely need the break, go for it. But I mean, I don't think me taking a break will actually help that much. If anything, it might just make me feel bad that I decided to cancel stream, especially if all I do is wallow in my sadness here at home. You know, who is that actually helping? Not me, that's for sure. So, might as well stream, might as well see everyone. Hope y'all have had a much better week than I have. Let me talk about something the polar opposite of cartoons and the other thing I was excited for. Which is that I played Fear and Hunger. This was, this like past 2 weeks or so. And I beat Fear and Hunger. And boy oh boy. It is a neat game. I'm not necessarily just like, oh, I should have never done this. It's hard. And it requires more content warnings than you could type out on your computer. But it is kind of like neat in the way. I mean, it's an RPG Maker game, and yet it is incredibly in depth with the stuff it does. So neato. Maybe not like the best. Maybe definitely not for everyone. But you know. I mean, you've seen it on stream where I'm just like, if I don't beat it, I'll feel bad. So that was kind of where my brain was at for a minute. And multiple times I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. But then I did in fact manage to get by it. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing that sucks about that game, is that, I mean, there's literally a system in the game where, what was I thinking of? Where randomized coin flips decide kind of like, you know, certain decently important things. Sometimes not too important, sometimes it's literally an instant death situation if you don't pull it out. No, okay, I was about to say. I went and checked on something on the playlist we were listening to? Whatever. But anyway, so yeah, there's like this coin flip mechanic. So that will like literally, with a randomized coin flip, decide certain things about your playthrough at any given point. Oh my goodness! Yippers. Greg gifted a sub to a starry bunny. Thank you, Gray. Yes, Oswald is over here being very cute. Also, I will need to adjust my donation stuff when stream is done, because that does count towards donuts. So thank you. What else? Oh yeah. So there's these blah 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 big coin flips decide, you know, how your game's gonna go, kind of. But the problem is, I realized kind of towards the end of the game, there's decently tough enemies that will just do incredibly derailing things regardless of coin flips. And don't get me wrong, I mean, that's kind of how the game is. It's just punishing, period. But I think when it gets like that deep in, and so many big decisions and moments are decided because of literally RPG number randomizers, then it's just like, that's the part where the lol random really started getting to me. But I mean, even being able to save your game is a randomized thing in that game. And that, I mean, that's cool. It is randomized whether or not it is safe to like rest and save your game. But again, lots of content warnings for many a different reasons. I wasn't talking about it too much with friends at all, because like legitimately there can be some real messed up stuff in that game. It is not just torture dungeon themed. It is a torture dungeon. And I mean, in part I played it because, I mean, if you've been around enough, you've heard me talk about Super Eye Patch Wolf, and he made a couple months ago a video on it. And as I've watched it, I was just like, I want to try it out. You know me. So I did it. I mean, maybe this is why it was so hard for me, but I got ending C with all my party members alive, which actually is not, genuinely is not in, I'm not trying to like toot my own whistle. It's just like, I'm not, that's not even the intended experience. I imagine you are very much supposed to let a few of your party members die, but honestly, if one of them died, I was just like, this is going bad enough that I want to restart, so whatever. For cranberries. C for pirates. Because pirates love the sea. Ah! Waka waka! Oh boy. Comedy. Comedy. Comedy is here. I will say, I was thinking the other day about growing the channel. I mean, I talk a lot of shop. I talk a lot of shop and a lot of shit around here, around the office, as it were. But like, I don't know. Things have been going well besides that, though. I mean, that's why I think about it, because I'm like, man, everyone around here is so cool. How more? How more? More? How more? How would more? You know? Does that make any sense? Probably not. I am literally an insane person. I love how Oswald has, like, sometimes he'll just be in different loath modes, where sometimes he's a full-on ball, and then sometimes he's kind of like Corvette mode, where, like his, as opposed to being totally tucked away, you can still kind of see his legs around and everything, so it just looks like the wheels of a very sleeked car. You know how those cars do? Or, you know what that reminds me of? When I'm thinking of sleek vehicles, I can't help but think of like those Art Deco trains. You know what I'm talking about? Like the really sleek, old style trains. They are very pretty to look at. And honestly, I just wish everything was more Art Deco half the time. I mean, shocker, right? Shocker that the guy who likes Rubber Hose cartoons also has a taste for, like, you know, a architectural and artistic style for around roughly the same time as those cartoons. Insane to think about, but it is true. Hold your horses. Hold on to your socks, because what I'm telling you here is not fiction. It is in fact the truth. But yes. Well, you know, I was glad I was able to let Oswald out today. Because, like, when I was talking about playing that game, I was, that was largely just like when I would get home after a while and just be in bed playing it. I have not really had like, minus I think yesterday a little bit. No, the day before that. Yesterday we had family over, so wasn't as much. I mean, I had work yesterday too, so that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, is that I had things like work and plans after work, which meant a lot of my days were largely booked. So I was just like, not really. I mean, and that's the other reason why I'm like, oh boy, can't wait to animate some. Oh boy, oh howdy. Oh gee willikers, mister. I can't wait to animate. I also need to work on like, because when I have had the free time, my priority has been Sal's commissions, which I worked on stream a bit the other week, and and like I have made progress on those. At this point, I'm just gonna color them because I've asked for his feedback plenty, I figure, and at this point, it's just like, I think it's as good as it's gonna get. So, oh, I don't know why it pauses every now and then. So might as well start coloring, but I mean, I really don't like when I wish. Because, I mean, part of the answer is charge more for commissions, which a lot of people have told me to do. But besides that, you know, if I wanted to make commissions and illustrating and stuff my full-time job, I would still, even if I made them very expensive as one professional illustrator I know, I won't name because I'm not going to be like, look at their prices, yowzas. But even if I had like their kind of pricing, which would I guess be me being like, I'm as good as them, and I don't even know about that. Let's hold our horses on that. Hello, Juice. Then I'd still need a lot of them. I'd need to make like minimum wage. So, meanwhile, like, do you know how much, like, look at audience currently. Do you know how much the math on that does not work out well for everyone around? If I'm going by just like even minimum wage. I don't have that big of a reach yet. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I needed to distort a circle. I was gonna ask how circles do, but this circle doesn't. You feel me? You feel me, Joe? You know what? It might help that I'm using, if I use like the right pen. I don't feel yet. Damn. I haven't felt the touch of another person in so long. Man, I need to, you know, honestly, maybe I should just rewatch it, because during one of Snapcube's Resident Evil playthroughs, specifically 7, she was playing with one of her friends, and like, they were just pretending Ethan was an incel, basically. And she says something as Ethan, and her friend just goes, he is down horrendous. And I can't remember what prompts them to say that. It's just I think it's very funny they say that. Just like, oh, he's down awful. Speaking of, let me not steal stuff from Snapcube. Let me steal stuff from my friend Pig, who, as I was like, yeah, I'll go, you know, I haven't been in much streams lately. due to the aforementioned busyness. Let me go pop in on Pig stream. I just saw that you went live. Like, not too long to me being there. Pig and chat start making a joke about Cahill Sex Simulator, which first off is wild. That would I feel like to most people that would 100% constitute like some kind of harassment. But regardless, he was like, and it is a 5-minute playthrough, and I'm like, damn. 5 minutes? I mean, I didn't help. I played into it because it was funny. On account of his wife being gone for a year. Yeah, and then being fake killed by Chris Redfield. Oh my goodness. If it swapped you to swapped from you to Smage pretty fast, I think I was lurking at that point. Because as it was happening, I was you ever I feel like I've talked about this before, where it's like I don't realize my body is like wants something until it makes it incredibly obvious. That was today. That was a today thing. When I realized I was starving to death. When I looked over at my 3 Zelda hearts in the upper corner. And I was on the last fucking 4th of the last one. Like, that's my issue. My body needs things until it's almost too late. Until it's too late. I mean, I guess I would do well on a deserted island, you know, where freaking I'm not. What? Someone texted me something. Anyway, well, I guess I would do good on a deserted island, you know, where, instead of like the psychology of how to survive or rationing food, like that doesn't affect me. I'm not thinking about my food until I'm already starving. So at that point, I'm just like, oh, okay. I've managed, since the only thing I have to do on this island is stockpile resources. I have plenty of resources stockpiled by the time I have started to be very hungry. Lucky Cahill. Good for Cahill. Speaking of deserted islands, someone fact check this, but I think I saw a post about how, like, you know how Lord of the Flies posits where it's just like, if we leave little kids alone on an island, they'll go freaking insane and kill each other. I remember seeing a post a while ago where it's just like that versus the actual case where boys were stranded on an island and did perfectly fine, cooperating with each other. I don't know if that's real. If anyone wants to fact check that, go ahead. But I like that. I like, that's the thing. I've kind of been outside of One Piece, which I guess you could argue is like a light in the tunnel. Like I've been in the murky waters of some dark content recently. I've been like very similar. Like I didn't even realize how bad it got outside of a certain event, which anyone who knows anything about Berserk will know which event I'm talking about. But like Berserk is similarly as bad as Fear and Hunger. I mean, it's all dark fantasy. Same content warnings apply. But I mean, you know, I hear they're both good, so I'm just like, okay, let me check it out, you know? Let me check these things out. But I feel like the good thing about enjoying some dark content is when you get to enjoy some fun content, some nice content afterwards. I only say I mean, I could say media, art, however you want to put it. I guess art could be the right word, but I feel like, you know, if I say art, people are gonna think I'm looking at like Saturn devouring his sun and then going over to look at Water Lilies by Monet, like that kind of shit. No, I'm talking about pieces of media created by people in different formats for people to consume. What was I just thinking of? With Berserk and... But yeah, I mean, I guess I've just kind of been in the murk about that, but I genuinely enjoy more lighthearted, well, not lighthearted, but more positive takes on humanity. Hey, you want to know something ironic? Bloodborne is my favorite FromSoft game. Because I feel like it's a positive spin on stuff, and you're just like, Cahill, what are you talking about? But I mean, at the end of the day, Bloodborne is like, you know, the typical trope of cosmic horror is that... What's the thing now? Is that just comprehending it is too much for someone. But Bloodborne, it's just like, no, not only can you comprehend it, you're gonna take it apart piece by piece with a butcher's knife. And I'm like, heck yes. That sounds fun as heck, my guy. So that's one reason I like it that much. But I think about like that, I bring it up because I think that Lord of the Flies versus a real life situation where boys did fine on an island, makes me think of like 1984, which someone had talked about on the stream, I forget, versus V for Vendetta. Oh, heck yeah. Well, still. I mean, even whether it was a planned situation or, you know, whatever. Wasn't a study. No, okay. Well, I didn't say it was a study. But that's great. Because that means... Because, you know, regardless, I'm going to take the real-life experiences of people over the fictional book. I typoed. You're good. But yeah. Because, like, 1984, one of the biggest things I remember of it is, like, it doesn't really change by the ending. You know? The main character is mostly in the same place as he was before. In a very depressing environment. Whereas V for Vendetta, you know, posits the idea that people don't like, being treated badly. Checks notes. People don't like, being shat on. Wild as that may seem. Wild as it may seem, enough people will not enjoy a negative situation enough to be like, you know, maybe we should change maybe we should change our approach. And so, whether you want to argue application of reality or not, I like that much better than, nope, everyone likes things bad and are okay with things being bad. Don't like being absolutely shat on? Oh. I like the positive. You know. I just think, if anything, if I have to give my take on reality, I think in reality it's more of a problem of fuck around and find out. You know? You get what I'm saying? People want things to be good, so they're like, this will make things good, right? And then it's like, we were wrong! And that's where arguments and yada 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 come in. But simplifying it down to a story would, I feel like, be like V for Vendetta, you know? We shouldn't have to fuck around to find out. We should just know. Guys, stop finding things out. Just inherently know them already. Gosh. You guys. Not knowing the truths of the universe as they happen. Not having like Garnet's future vision in Steven Universe, where you see all possibilities before they inevitably collide into one true present, knowing the consequences of your actions before you take them. Skill issue, really. Just know things already. Always be knowledgeable. I forgot she could do that. That's why she's got a third eye. Okay, so I was thinking about this yesterday, and then I saw a clip from Young Justice that was literally the exact thing I was thinking about in the car. I forget if I was thinking about it because of Miss Martian, but it was a clip about Miss Martian, and I was just thinking about it. I think it was a clip more about, like, just aliens in general. But, okay, so let's say we meet an alien species that can shapeshift. Like, just pretty straight up shapeshift, right? Whether it's because their, you know, original form is gelatinous in nature, or they can just, in general, change the structure of their bodies in order so that after a slight transformation, they take a new form. Regardless, let's say they could shapeshift, right? Do you think there would be a thing where, like, as we hang out, there's, like, online, people are just like, you guys, you don't have to shapeshift for us. Be yourself. And they're just like, no, we're not doing, like, you know, it's like makeup. We're not doing it for you. We're doing it for us. You guys have... I hope you got a good shower. I enjoy a shower very much. I was talking to Juice, who said I smell like mold. So if you want to know what Cahill smells like, apparently I smell like mold. But I do shower often. I like showers. I like getting to just... Good mold? I hope so. I mean, some mold. That's what I asked. Because I was like, listen. So, and I'm kind of okay with a certain basement smell. Depends on the basement. You know? But like, there's like, you know, books. Some people say that's a mold smell. And it's just like, okay. But regardless, anyway, back to the alien thing. So let's say aliens can shapeshift, right? Do you think there would be a trend where people would be like, you guys don't have to shapeshift for us. You can be yourself. And the aliens are just like, we don't change into humans for you guys. We do it for ourselves. You just... The hands thing, having hands, incredibly convenient. The legs are okay, but, like, you know, mobility and hands are super useful. We're doing it for... And also, like, yeah, maybe if we were back home, we might, like, you know, change into original form, whatever. None of your business. But freaking... We're on Earth. Do you know how many human-shaped things are on Earth? My Earth driver's license says I can only drive in human form. Because cars are made for people. If I was a freaking octopoid, I couldn't drive your cars. Alligators. I like alligators. If I become one, I can't use most human devices. So, again, not for you, for us. Self-centered humans. Humans. Alligators are cool, though. But I feel like one reason I was thinking about that is I saw a clip about shape-shifting aliens. Again, I don't know if it was... Miss Martian. The clip I saw was more about kind of an identity thing, and I guess you could see that as a transgender thing. I don't know if that's what they were going for. I just know it was like it was mostly just giraffes are cool. What, activating One Piece reference? But what was I thinking of? But the thing I was thinking about the other day was the idea of just, like, hands are pretty useful. Think of how many species on Earth have hands. Not a lot of them. Not many of them have the opposable thumb. So imagine shape-shifting aliens find us, and like, you know, we're all very amicable. And they're just like, we love thumbs. We've been making like flexible nodules on our body, on our gooey body, for literally ever in order to grab anything. And you bitches got thumbs in here? I'll be honest, I might go home and not shapeshift back. I like having hands. I feel like that was my bigger point. Was the idea of just like, no, I don't need to shapeshift back into whatever species I am. Being human is worked pretty well for me. I'm all thumbs, same. That's why I make so many typos. As bad as I am at speaking, as you might say, gee, Cahill, you fumble your words a lot on stream. I really hope you're better at writing them out. Not so. If I write stream of consciousness, it's nearly illegible. Both through type and on paper, which is impressive. I don't know how much, I've talked about this at least once on stream, but I am left-handed in theory, but I broke my left hand as a child, while learning to write. So, I'm right-handed by force. By force. Triforce? So, I'm trying to think. So, like, since that's kind of how I learned to write, I write very weird, and it comes out very bad. I learned what the term chicken scratch meant because my parents used it to describe my writing. I know what it means to say chicken scratch because it was used to describe how I write. Chimkins. I was talking to someone the other day, like they have chimkins as pets, and I would like a chimkin pet. Lord, in the pet store I work in, the other day there was a big adoption day with a bunch of kittens. It's not a thing where we. That's the good thing about the pet store I work at. We don't like have breeds made for being pets, like it's adoption. So it's strays. And for example, the other day it was litters of kittens people may not be able to take care of. And I do wish I could get a cat. I think there's enough videos online of cats and rabbits getting together that I'm pretty sure if I had Oswald and a kitten and was raising the kitten next to Oswald, they would get along just fine. I mean, Oswald is chunky. No small cat is taking this bunny down. So, if I lived by myself, it might be hard to convince me not to get a rabbit. I mean, not to get a cat. I do have a rabbit. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I do. Look at me. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. You know something I love in Scooby-Doo? They got a laugh track. I don't know if that's because it was like... Because that was kind of early days of television. Early days of animated television for sure. Because animation, especially back in the day, was a laborious process. And thus... what was the thing of? And thus, you know, the idea of doing it for like a weekly show was impractical until Hanna-Barbera was just like, guys, we're just gonna reuse a lot of animation, and when we need unique stuff, we'll make it very limited. And people were like, oh shit. And that's how Hanna-Barbera became the top dogs for television animation for quite a while. Happy birthday, Mint! I don't think Mint's here. Not a lot of people are here. I don't know. See, this is what I'm saying, you know? Not to get down or talk shop much more, but if I can say real quick, I just noticed like a drop recently, and I just like, what can I do? You know, what should I do? Scooby Dooby Doo. Anyway, back to that. This is I feel like I was talking the other day about how it's just like when I ask people what do they want to see me stream, and they say whatever you want. It's just like, no, I want to know what you're gonna come and yeah, I want to know what you'll drive to Nebraska to go watch for, you know, online. But regardless, my point with Scooby-Doo was like early days of television animation. It has a laugh track. Why Nebraska? I don't know. I was trying to think of a remote place. Where it's just like, yeah, I guess you could go watch a show there, but you wouldn't go there for any other reason. Anyway, it does remind me. There is a large. I live near Pennsylvania. It's no secret, and there is a large theater in Amish country, and it is Christian. It is a Christian theater, and they do. But I mean, I will say the one reason I'm okay with talking about it is because it's not necessarily like. It's not like doing original stories and being like, and then Jesus, you know, like. I do think there's some good biblical media. It's just most of it tends not to be the stuff that's trying to like actually preach it to people. Yeah, exactly. But they just like basically they do Bible stories. You know the stories in the Bible. Like Noah. Noah. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of fun to watch because I think that's anyone who grew up Christian or whatever, you might agree with me that hearing the stories was always the best part. Being like, that's some wacky stuff you got. You guys are funny. You got some wacky stuff going on. Moses, what are you even up to? Let my people go. Yeah, like that'll catch on. Anyway, what was I thinking of? But like, it's super high production. I will say, I hope they're just. I know, and it's not great because there are like mega, there's like televangelists and stuff. So I know some people get tax breaks, whatever, on stuff like that. I'm pretty sure they're just legitimately selling tickets and using them to pay for the shows they put on, that's what I hope. I hope they're not being like, no, we shouldn't have to pay for anything. It's like, guys, come on now. I just think it's a legit theater. It just happens to be oriented towards Bible stories. But it's fun. It's very... Amish country is nice. I don't know much about Amish people, but places they live are nice. Lots of farms. I like, I like farms. I like cows. So... maybe it shouldn't be a shock. I like the place with lots of big farms and yada yada. A lot of animal life. What was I thinking of? But yeah. It's nice whenever my grandparents are like, you want to go see this? And I'm like, sure. I don't got much else going on. Yeah. I don't know how true this is, but I do think it's a good point. Because I remember I heard it was posited to me, to Mr. Dylan Cahill, Mr. Cahill Comics, that, what was I thinking of? That, like, farming can be a very taxing, to put it lightly, process. on resources and such. And without getting too much into it, for both animals and people's sake, chicken is kind of... Oh no, not like that. But chickens are good to farm. Because think about how big a cow is. To take good care of a cow, to make sure the cow has a good life, and that everything's fine, you need a lot of space for the cow. Chickens are much smaller. So... oh no, I think about that a lot. I could do more research on it. It could just be the best solution is to go vegetarian. But I'm not. I know nothing about being a vegetarian. A vegetable-narian. A veggie librarian. Look at that, we talked about Bible stories and now we're talking about vegetables. And this is how VeggieTales was formed. VeggieTales, which canonically, for whatever reason, cannot have souls, and thus cannot go to heaven. So what are they even doing? I don't know. No one knows. What's up with those wacky guys? Poor VeggieTale. Poor Larry the Cucumber. I'll miss you, Larry. When you step into oblivion. Larry. Oh boy. Oh boy, Bob. You can't really do it. I watched the VeggieTale movies, but I never knew there was like a show. I just thought they were like animated characters used for stuff. I was unaware. Nope. Hey, Fruitless, I might be, you know. Thank you. Thank you, Juice. I might be desperate, but I'm not that desperate. Guys, if you don't come to the next stream, I'm gonna click on the spam bot links. Please save me. That'd be a weird guilt trip. It's time for Cahill to gaslight his way to success. Gaslight, gatekeep, gouge. Gouge? Listen. You don't get to the top without taking a few eyeballs. You know, what was I thinking of? Adventure Time did a lot of cool stuff, but the thing that will always stick with me the most is them being like peeled grapes feel like eyeballs. And I'd be like, oh, I didn't know that. First off, I didn't know you could peel a grape. I didn't know you could do surgery on a grape. Remember when that happened? I had seen that video a long time ago. And then they were just like, it's a thing now. And I'd be like, why? I don't get you. Internet. With your confusing mannerisms. Oh my lord. We were talking, so I won't give too many specific details, but we were talking like mean short people in Discord, and my friend was like, well, how can you be mean if you're short? You can't enforce that. You know, taller people will just stand up to you. And I was like, there's so many movies, historical and fictional, where the villain is short. I was like, that's the plot of Shrek. The plot of Shrek is there is a mean short man. Original Shrek, which people might not remember because of how many sequels there are and all the internet content. Original Shrek was just about him trying to get his house back from a mean short guy. It was only after that was done he had to mess with his in-laws and a singing fairy. And then the bad movies happened. You know, the bad ones no one likes. I love how a while ago, if you had asked people about like the Puss in Boots movies, they would be like, yeah, they're fine. You know, DreamWorks, they're not bad. Shrek's better. But now people are just like, oh, it's one of the greatest animated features of all time. I still haven't seen them. I haven't seen Last Wish in full. What I would like to do, especially now that it's out on streaming, is watch the first one and watch the second one, like, back to back. I like the third Shrek. Well, you're wrong, Juice, and you're allowed to be wrong. But you are wrong. Anyway, because I remember liking the original Puss in Boots, and like it was okay. You know, I wouldn't be like masterpiece, best film ever. You gotta see it. It was fine. But clearly Spider-Verse had its effect, and good. If anything, you know what I want the effect of Spider-Verse to be? I don't want every movie to be in Spider-Verse's style. Spider-Verse is great. It makes that style work perfectly. But what it should say is, hey, not every fucking 3D cartoon movie has to look like Toy Story. Please, for the love of God, stop making them look like Toy Story. I'm so tired. That was why I was so partial to 2D animation. Even as I've said it before, even as a kid, I would look at the concept art and be like, wow, I wish the movie looked like this instead. You know, things would just be more stylized and fun looking in concept art, as opposed to, you know, the finished product. And I was like, why'd they change it? Why'd they change it? Little did I know at the time that Disney was like, we're never making another 2D movie again. And I'd be like, you're morons. Find your new game. Nintendo Switch. Smage, to find my new game, all you have to do is go to the Nintendo Switch eShop, click on Best Sellers, you'll see Hentai Girls. That's one of the best sellers on Nintendo Switch. I am a DLC character for that game, so if you want to play my sub-quest in the Hentai game, that's how you're going to get it. They don't sell my content alone. Are you actually? Jude, are you asking me if I'm actually in Nintendo Switch's premier hentai game? No, I'm not. Fucking Juice out here being like, no! Drop the curtain, stop the show! Don't feel bad, Juice. I love when you do that. No one guilt Juice. Juice, my God, my Juice. No, I think it's super funny. And also, to be fair, I like to do the thing where, as I'm kind of putting on a show, I just blend actual real life stuff in with complete fabrications. It's fun. It is. You're great. That's what because I've said it many times. You're the smartest person I know, and yet you fall and don't know for incredibly like common stuff, but it's still great. What was I thinking of? Animated movies. Yeah, but I don't want every movie to look like Spider-Verse. I want Spider-Verse just to tell everyone, hey, having a unique style helps people want to see your movie. I never got out to see Ruby Gilman. I feel bad about that. Did anyone here see Ruby Gilman? Based on the numbers, probably not. But in the case you did, tell me about it. I did. Did you? Was it good? Honestly, it looked good. I just thought it looked fun. And the fact that their villain was an Ariel ripoff for a preteen movie, well, it was really generic. That's a shame. I was hoping it was better, but... Was that also DreamWorks? Or is that someone else? Because if so, then it's just like, you just did Puss in Boots. Like, you're fine. The animation was cute. It looked good. I mean, that's part of it. It was funny they were doing an Ariel villain as the Little Mermaid remake came out. Though, to be exact, it was original Ariel and not remake Ariel. Which I know, because I mean, when I worked at Disney, they started selling Ariel, remake Ariel stuff. They started selling shirts that just had a photorealistic fish on it. Yeah. I appreciate you popping in, Schmage. I really need to stop looking at numbers. Maybe I shouldn't get... Maybe the key to success is not caring what other people think, yo. And maybe my hemorrhoids will go away eventually. Hey, if you see a bully, speak up. And in case of getting your arm stuck in a boulder, just remember that the 127 hours guy gnawed through his flesh to escape and survive. So you can too. Hey guys, I just want to say that puberty is natural, and you don't have to feel ashamed of your body. And also, if you're stranded on a deserted island, cannibalism is a perfectly okay option. If your best friend dies from natural causes on a deserted island, you shouldn't feel bad about having to eat their corpse to survive. Many animals do. Well, I'm assuming you're in agreement. Early One Piece spoilers ate their yucks to survive. Good point. I just I mean, listen, cartoons take a while to make. So in the meantime, can everyone here just help me make like after school specials? And it gets messed up, but not in like the don't hug me, I'm scared or like FNAF kind of way. It just keeps being very wholesome, but instructing you on the wildest and sometimes most illegal stuff to that's okay. I believe Zayd was talking about a man with a very tall hat and very good facial hair. Not Roger. Not Roger. Roger's the best. Zeph. Yeah. Honestly, the thing I'm always okay with people spoiling is East Blue. Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but East Blue is it's the first thing in the grand scheme of One Piece. Imagine you were like, the hobbits have to leave the Shire, and people are just like, spoilers. Spoilers! You can't tell them that the hobbits leave the Shire yet. He isn't there. Hey guys, we had a lot of fun today, but I think it's important to remember that our friends the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles told us that it's much better to eat pizza than smoke cigarettes. And remember that, just like Walter White, it's okay to turn to a life of crime to pay your medical bills, no matter what you have to do to survive. I love it. Yeah. East Blue was, to be honest, the only thing that could have been made into a 4-kids anime. And yet, they still managed to fuck it up. Yo ho ho, he took a bite of gum gum. He's made of rubber! How did that happen? Yo ho ho, he took a bite of gum gum. Oh, so yeah, I don't mention it a lot. I'm always like Spider-Man, One Piece, yada yada yada. I grew up with 2003 and 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And if you don't know about those guys, like, a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle media covers the same stuff. Honestly, one of the reasons Rise was so controversial is because it didn't just do the same thing again. But you know, it's like whatever. Like, it's like Mega Man, you know? Sometimes people just like seeing the same thing remixed again. And I again, my only real criticism with Rise was the power creep. But regardless, I'm almost definitely seeing the new Turtles. Seth Rogen? Are you kidding me? He's Donkey Kong. Hey guys, I know it's cool to go outside and play Donkey Kong at the arcade with your friends, but you gotta get your homework done so you can get a good job later in life. But also remember that Mario says it's okay to beat people to death with a hammer. So your options are open. Seriously. Someone help me make a... Mario did say that, didn't he? Hey guys, remember, you should always ask people if it's okay to touch them in any way. Unless you're Mario, and then you can possess the body of real men and women and walk around in their skin. To complete levels. Go worky. I don't remember, like, I mean, I don't know if you... Thanks, Mario. I don't know if y'all remember, like, was it called All-Stars Cartoon? Was it... Let me look it up. I'm looking it up on my phone. I'm not bringing it up, because we don't need to see the images. All-Star Cartoons... Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue. Yeah, it was a... Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue was a after-school special... to the rescue. Let me see. Yeah. It was an after-school special featuring Winnie the Pooh, Smurfs, Garfield, the Muppet Babies, Alvin and the Chipmunk, Huey, Dewey, Louie, Ghostbusters, Alf, and the Looney Tunes. That one I remember very distinctly. Oh, and the Turtles were there. That's part of it. I definitely remember the Turtles being there. But regardless, I was gonna say that it's incredibly important. It was like anti-smoking PSA. No, that was real. Go make yourself some cup turtles. Go make yourself some cup noodles, Greg. But anyway, because I was about to say, I don't remember like what after-school specials I was shown as a kid, but I definitely, you know, I saw my fair share, except that one, in which case I remember a lot of it, and fucking, you know, very vividly remember that one. Because how can you not remember the Winnie the Pooh and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles teaming up? That I was like, this should be on the news. This should be national news stories. I was talking the other time. I mean, I think about what should be on the news a lot. Because I said before about how messed up Philly news gets. So, I would love to hear about anything other than a family of 8 burning to death. That would be great. Oh my lord, I never talked about this. I came out, so like, you know, I live in Jersey. And like, you know, somewhat close to Philly. And one Easter day, when I was about middle school or so, me and my family come out of church, because like, you know, we're one of those families where it's like, okay, not every week, but on Easter and Christmas we go to the church. Very religious. Get us a new bunny pic. I have a new bunny pic for you, Greg. Let me just pull that up real quick. I don't mind taking a break from the bit of animating I was due to bring up the Bunwee pic. But anyway, what was I just thinking of? Oh yeah, so we come out of church one Easter Sunday. Oh my lord. Give me 1 second, I gotta turn you down. I think you're fine on stream, but... Oh no, you are not. Oh wait. Give me 1 sec.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just said a thing.
No, you're very loud. You're fine, pig. I don't know why fucking... You know. I don't know why... Just OBS is like this. So... Pig jump scare. Anyway. Pig, do you mind if I tell chat what else I was going to tell them? Real quick? Okay. Because it was going to be that one Easter Sunday, you know, in and around Philly, we come out the church, our local church, to turn around the corner and see several townhouses engulfed in a raging fire.
Hello.
And I'm not exaggerating. Like, I believe the news report was that 7 houses burned down in that neighborhood that day, all at once. So, good Easter. Anyway, how are you, Pig?
I'm okay, how are you?
I'm good. How are your Kerbals doing?
Well, I made no progress today.
I mean, so, I was talking before on stream about how, like, I was thinking of, I was playing Fear to Hunger and finally beat it today and stuff like that. And that kind of game can frustrate me because you getting to the end is not necessarily impossible. It just takes a lot on your part and everything. But is there really an end to Kerbal Space Station? Space Program? No. Yeah, exactly. So what even is progress? Did you... Hey, Pig, did you get a rocket up in the air?
I did not achieve the thing I planned to achieve, which was to dock 2 spacecraft.
That could be hard.
Here's the thing, Cahill.
Yes.
Anytime you can say the phrase, I did not achieve docking today, that day is a failure.
You know, I mean, I don't like to think of it that way, but you do have kind of a point. Oh, hey, Pig, question. I'm gonna message everyone anyway. But, are you still down for 12th board game nonsense?
I am.
Sick. Window capture 2. Okay, I just gotta open this up. I'm glad you are, because I realized I had not asked I had not followed up with anyone about that, and I was just like, wait a minute. Oh no. Where is image? Preview image. Yes. There it is. Oh my lord. Why is OBS, I want OBS to be like, hey, listen, like, don't make images bigger than this. Don't let anything be louder than that. You know? Instead, I'm balancing a million things, and they're just like, it's fine, right? It's free, and I shouldn't complain that much. But I just don't understand why certain things are the way they are. Maybe it's because it is free, so they're just like, you know, we're not streamlining it that much. Anyway, there's Oswald. He's been a loaf. They also gave him a new blanket today, so he was playing with that and having a good time. So good Bunwee. Pig, how's Gummy lately?
Gummy's very good.
That's good. You love your kitten.
The vet called him fat, and
Oh, I mean that's a good. Well, listen, the world's most famous cat is fat, so who can
Well,
complain?
they didn't say fat. They said he needed to lose a little bit of weight.
No, feed him lasagna. Give him the lasagna.
That cat is dying.
No, Garfield's fine. Garfield is canonically is absolutely not dying. He's lived longer than just about any cat at this point. So I like Garfield. I feel like there was a period in time where people were just like Garfield sucks, and I'm like, no, I like Garfield.
Garfield does suck. Do you know what's fantastic?
What's that?
The comic Garfield without Garfield.
Oh my lord.
Are you aware of it?
Yes, of course I'm aware of it. That's why I'm exasperated, and it is good. I saw one of them today, and it was funny. It's not that I don't like Garfield parodies. I'm just saying the source material isn't the scourge of media that people kind of act like it is. Trust me, there's worse newspaper comic strips. I can think of one right now. So, damn you, Heathcliff.
You know what? I've been seeing Heathcliff comics on Twitter, and I'm kind of coming around.
Well, so this is the thing. I used to watch a Garfield cartoon. I realized there was apparently a Garfield show that was a 2D cartoon, like, a long time ago. But there's a 3D Garfield cartoon that I liked watching as a kid. And, like, it would just be weird. Like, Garfield would, like, fight aliens and stuff, etc., etc. So
Yeah, another one.
yeah, so I like that, and I had fun with it. That's the one that Garfield Kart Racers is based on, which is neat. Unfortunately. But I thought it was a fun show. And I like that. I like, almost kind of like a wacky sitcom, except a bit, wackier given that it's a talking cat, and then, like I said, there's aliens and shit, so a bit wackier than that, but regardless, I had a good time with that one. And I think that's what entertains me with Garfield is usually he still is very aloof or whatever, but gets into...
Cahill, share the picture again. Greg was away.
Oh my god, Greg! Greg! Wait, can I even do that? Did I close it? I didn't delete it, but I closed the window. Nope, there it is. And I did share Bunny Pic. Anyway. On stream. I will put it in Discord too. I like when he's wacky and stuff. But yeah, I think more so than Garfield, what I've seen of Heathcliff is that he kind of works in a one panel situation where it's just a very silly thing happening.
And it's really weird as a general rule.
It's just, there is a cat, he's our main character, someone might be saying something, but that's the only rules to it, and then whatever the fuck else happens. So, guys, you heard the Cuphead soundtrack. I have to take a quick break,
I
so
didn't.
stream is over. Well, go listen to the Cuphead soundtrack. Do you not, Pig? Do you not like cartoons? Hey, Pig. Hey, Pig.
I can listen to the Xenoblade soundtrack instead.
Well, maybe one of those games is good and one of them isn't. So. Fucking the deafening silence.
I'm going to pile drive you into a pile of mass.
Maybe one of them had a bigger debut on its initial release than the other one before, Smash. Maybe one of them didn't need to be in Smash to get popular, and the other one was popular by itself because it was well made and had lots of good art. Now, to be fair, Cuphead doesn't have titties like Xenoblade does, so I gotta give it to you there.
So Xenoblade 1, there's only one character who stands out for breasting boobily all the time.
Breasting boobily.
Xenoblade 2 is more so.
Yes. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I love Pyrrha and Mithra, and Pig, let me ask you something.
No, Cahill, they're not even the most extreme.
I know that,
Rigid,
But I mean,
Bridget is wearing a dress that's like down to her navel.
listen, we're not. I mean, there's a lot of comic characters like that. Don't get me started. But regardless, the stuff they've done with Black Cat recently has honestly probably been better than half the stuff they've done with Spider-Man. But that's besides the point. You just had me thinking about people who had ridiculous costumes in the past. But regardless, I was going to say, my favorite character is Nia. I'm not gonna keep talking about characters' breast size.
That
I
is
hate
because
that.
you're correct.
Yeah, she seems super good, and honestly, probably the biggest reason why I might play Xenoblade 2 in the future. And probably, I mean, I might get Xenoblade 1, especially because I love a good Wii game, but I don't know. I like Pyrrha, I like Mithra, I like Nia, and they are all Xenoblade 2, so...
They are.
But anyway, I was going to say, let me legitimately, and maybe you should cover this in your video, which I was going to mention, like, you were like, should I put the breast and googly joke in there? And I was like, you can just, like, show the meme if you're afraid. But regardless, I was going to say, Pig, does Pyrrha exist?
Firstly, it's Pyra.
Yeah.
And yes, like, in what sense do you ask that question?
Well, because the way they kind of explain her origin is that Mithra, who is a legendary magical weapon, which in this world weapons are people, was sick of dealing. Yeah.
I get what you mean. Are Pyra and Mithra separate, or is Pyra just like an aspect of Mithra?
Yeah, like is she her own person? Like,
Okay.
could I if I was like, you know, if I as all magical person who can draw stuff reach into Mithra and yank Pyra out, would that be its own person, or would I find no purchase in that soil?
So it's a little bit questionable at some points. Pyra and Mithra treat each other as separate people, more like sisters than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
However, by the end of Xenoblade 2, I don't feel bad for spoiling this, the game is 6 years old.
Yeah.
At the end of Xenoblade 2,
Oh, I know what you're going to talk about.
both Pyra and Mithra are simultaneously present.
Oh.
Separate.
Okay, then it is true. I mean, because that's the thing. It's not like Can Pyra, who I forget what the name is, but she's a legendary, like, again, in a world where people are weapon. Yeah, she is the Excalibur of weapon people.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
So it's not a question of can she just create life with her fingertips. I'm sure she could. She looks like she can. It's more of a question of did she do that?
No, she didn't do that. Pyra is essentially a separate entity that manifested from Mithra.
I mean, that works. That also works.
However, both of those are only possible because, again, spoiler for a 6-year-old game, Mithra is not the true form either. Mithra is also... By the way, Cahill, you know no one can see anything except for you.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad thing, but it is, you know.
I just thought I'd mention it.
No, I appreciate that. That helps a lot. I should play off on the channel, especially given... Oh my God.
It's revealed at the end of Chapter 8, I think.
This one I knew. This one I did know.
That basically, what is known in game as the ascended form of Pyra or Mithra, what is known for lore reasons as Pneuma, is essentially a reality manipulator.
Okay, that works.
Is basically able to change the laws of the physical world. So likely the reason that it is possible for that to happen is due to that, although there is some evidence that is possible for all of the Aegises.
I mean, if I'm being honest, and not to rain on your parade, because I'm glad you're telling me all this, and especially because I don't imagine this will affect my playthrough of Xenoblade 2 if I do play it. But I still feel like you could have nodded your head yes when I was like, Mithra can snap her hands and create a person because she's the Excalibur of weapon people.
Except Mithra can't. Mithra does not have access to
Okay,
the full abilities
you're
of the
being-
extended form.
I know it's your. Listen. I get it.
Okay, Cahill, this is like if I asked you a question about like the lore of Ruby, and then complained that you went into detail.
No, well, it's not. Well, yes, but you were to like, spoilers, blah blah blah, and we're like, I don't feel bad about giving. Okay. Wait. No.
Yes, but actually no meme. This is the reverse of no, but actually yes.
Okay, yes, and I get that. But what I'm not saying you're bad for going into detail. What I was saying instead was that you were like, I don't feel bad about giving spoilers, and you shouldn't. Again, old game, blah blah blah. But what I'm saying is you didn't really necessarily have to, because in a roundabout way, I was kind of right with the Mithra thing, because whether or not they're one person or three separate ones, which it sounds like the latter, which I'm glad because I love Pyrrha and she's great, and I don't want her just to be like some person's like, imaginary friend. They do compromise the same being at least some point in the game, and thus
for the majority of
yeah.
her existence, yes.
Exactly. So that's what. So again, you're not bad for going into detail. I'm just saying it's like if you really didn't want to spoil
for
it.
at least 500 years, they have been different aspects of the same being.
Yes, all I'm saying is like, there was the thing where it's like, you could have just been like, yes, but if you want more explanation on that, you can play Xenoblade 2, now available on Nintendo Switch, or watch Pig's eventual video. So,
Don't worry, it'll only take 400 years to come out.
Pig, let me audition for me to be the artist on your video. So I'm going to draw Mithra right now. So we're gonna start with this, and then she has the crucifix on her because she loves Jesus. And then it's like this is kind of her thing, and then she has a thing where she has like wings, and then of course her legs, and then she has wings on the other side, and then she's like and she's her arms are crossed because she's always upset to be alive, and then her head, she's like this, and she's got the swoop, and then around, and again
I love hearing you in real time, but then watching you with like a 30-second delay.
And then she's again very angry to be alive, but still she can't help it. She's got a little ribbon around her head, up. She doesn't have an Ahoge, but I'm gonna give her an Ahoge because I just love. This looks more like a Genshin Impact character, but then again, what's the fucking difference between the two games? And then her hair is very long, and she's like, and then she says, and then she says, penis embarrassment.
Here's the thing though, Cahill. I know you're joking, but I kind of love it.
Then she says, penis embarrassment. That's a scene in Xenoblade 2. That's Mithra.
Daniel, I think you've just got yourself the job, so well done.
Sick. And then
And Matt seems interested in doing the editing, so I just have to do the writing and the talking.
and then this is their grandpa, and he says World War One because he fought in it. So those are two of the most essential Xenoblade characters right there. Oh, that's art. I don't pat myself on the back a lot, but oh
I'm sorry,
boy,
who's World War One again?
that's Gramps. I mean, he has little. He has little arms.
No. That's shockingly accurate. I'm just confused about the World War One part.
Well, he's old, so he fought in World War One.
The thing is,
He did.
no, but he was present for the first Aegis War, which is this world's equivalent, of that.
That's what I figured. That's what I figured you were going with when you're like, well, what actually? And she's like, oh, so he did fight in a world war, in an anime world war. Have a good shift, Greg. I appreciate you being here for penis embarrassment. It's my favorite thing I've ever done. So, wait. I want to move on, but I can't. Because if I'm gonna draw anyone, I have to draw Nia. So, first off, she's short. Because she's short. And she's got a jumpsuit. So I'm basically drawing a child at this point. And she's got her chakrams right there. And she has like a pixie cut basically. Does she have human ears or no?
Yes, and.
Sick. She's got a cat face. And cat ears. No, she has big cat ears. And fur in them. They're the good cat ears, so they got hair. And she says, Alright. Alright. What's all this then? Because she's Welsh. And that's Nia. Pig, I don't know why you're taking so long. I could do this in a day. I could do all of Xenoblade in a day. Go on.
The thing is, Cahill, what you're aiming for is like Barry's good enough summer.
Exactly.
Here's 3 games in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
What I'm aiming for is here's 3 games in 40 hours.
No, my lord. Okay, so I will say this. So I was warning you, 2 hours I feel like is the general good video essay length where people who like video essays will see it and be like, oh, I can do that. That seems... I love that there's a new video essay out about a game I don't know much about. It's super good. Like that, I would say I fall into that category most of the time, I see something like that, I save it for later, and when I get a chance, I watch it. And then I talked about there's the 8-hour mark, where it's like, that is people who really want to just like sit down and spend a day listening to a video essay about something they know little about, right? When you get past 10 hours, like when you start going into the 12-hour mark, I don't even know what sphere of YouTube you're going. I mean, you're definitely marathon territory. Like at this point, I would argue if you're aiming to like introduce people to Xenoblade and stuff, then if you're going to go to 10 hours at that point, just give each one their own essay and stuff like that.
The thing is, I think it was Laz. So somebody suggested like 1 big mega video and also 3 videos split up.
Yeah, but I mean, if you wanted to do that in like order and stuff like that, because I mean, I was thinking about this with my cartoons since I don't work on them enough. Like at that point, you can just like split them up.
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay, I'm done the Xenoblade 1 segment, and then it's like I'm working on 2 right now, but 1 can go up because that part of it is done. So we can do a video right now. And then, like, then you don't even have to worry about, like, necessarily cutting or working around stuff. It's just like, you should be watching all of them. But if you just want to watch this one video, here's, this X, Y, and Z. So,
yeah.
I think the only way you should mention Xenoblade X is being like, it's bad, but it's my favorite, so... And that you make a vine. You make a vine. Like the others are 2 hours. Xenoblade X is a vine saying it's bad, but I love it. And also Elmo. And this is one of the main characters. And now I will draw the main character of Xenoblade X, which of course, as we all know, is Elmo, and we love him. He does have boobs in this game, though. And he says, space
Okay.
Los Angeles.
You're no longer on the project.
Damn it. Listen, I'm trying to bring some far out there and cutting edge topics to your video, and you're giving me the business about it. Who else are you gonna get to do, to have these kinds of hot takes?
No, everything was fine until Elmo.
until the Elmo attacked. And then it got very bad. That was Christmas in the 90s when Tickle Me Elmo came out. On it? Okay. So I am not asking for a donation now. But there's this thing about toys, right? You want to know 2 toys I had and I wish I still had from my childhood? One of the Ben 10 Omnitrixes, the ones that actually spin.
Oh yeah.
And you slam it down. Specifically, I remember not Ultimate Alien, because that's the Ultimate Trix, and that's even in the show, that's a knockoff Omnitrix. But the Alien Force one, I remember, is super good. You could collect like clear plastic figures of the aliens to put on it, so like that way it actually looks like the show. But you could also just wear it by itself, and it worked perfectly cool, which was great. If someone ever donate, because I go into Target, what I do is I go through the toy section being like, if they have a Omnitrix, I'm getting it, because I want to get one again. If someone was just like, Cahill, here is money for Omnitrix, I'd be like, oh well, I'm gonna get Omnitrix. I'm glad like Smage and Max aren't here, and Pig, don't you do it either, because they'd be like, I'll do it now. It'd be like, no, this is a stupid thing. If anything, I guess I'm kind of... It's weird to say I'm manifesting it, right? Because what I'm saying is, I don't think anyone who is currently here should do that. I'm just hoping there's some stranger out there wandering the desert who, when they get to their computer, will go onto twitch.tv/KLComics and give me money saying, here's money for Omnitrix. Just out of the blue. That'd be cool.
You're cool. God.
You're cool. You want a sugar parent? No, Juice. I want a Ben 10 parent. Gives me Ben 10 stuff. What was I thinking of? I guess this can count as spoilers, but Omniverse, which is like the last series in the main Ben 10 canon anyway, ended forever ago, so who cares? But I saw videos. I want to say people who like anime have no joy on the internet, and I didn't know that before One Piece did a big event this week. And then I realized, I was like, oh, these people have no joy in their lives. That's sad. But people are debating. It's like, Ben can't do this, Ben can't do that. But the end of the series saw him holding the Big Bang in his hands, and the Omnitrix, like, morphed him into an alien that could handle taking the Big Bang to the point blank. None of this is an exaggeration. Drums, exactly, Sal, and I love that. I don't know if I said it, but not really spoilers. I love the animation in the new One Piece episode. The direction was awful. They did very bad directing on this episode, but that's why I recommend the manga and not the anime, because pacing. Anyway, but I mean, we thought about this because you and me like Death Battle, and I was just like, I think it's unreasonable to say Hal Jordan could reach like peak of his powers before Ben 10 got the upper hand. That was the thing I was really hung up on, where they'd be like, Hal would just beat him first before he could, and I'd be like, I don't know, because a prime Ben Tennyson, a full power, no holds bars Ben Tennyson is ridiculously overpowered. One of my favorite bits I've seen from Omniverse, I need to watch the show in full, honestly, because like a lot of people, I wrote it off at first. And there's like a scene where like a bunch of like, fake superheroes come in, and he's like, and like he just pulls out his watch and he's like, I don't care who I get, I'll beat you with them anyway. And then he does that. He's like, I will get any alien and I will win, and then he does, and it's great. So Like, but I mean, I've talked about Ben 10 more than the Turtles, but those were my Saturday morning cartoons. I grew up watching them. And also, Ben 10 had a style, like, I like Omniverse style, but, I mean, new Ben 10. I can come around on Omniverse. I did when it was on the air. I will never like the reboot. The reboot is dog shit. So, oh well. The new Turtles, I did. I like them a lot. I mean, it's not art direction, but direction-wise, I do like that they're actually doing teenager stuff. And you're like, it's a little cringy, and I'm like, you're right. But on the other hand, these characters have 4 words to describe them, and after 30 years, they've only used 3 of those words. So they've always been full-grown men. So I'm glad they're being teenagers for once. You know? And I heard it's good, so like, at that point. Donatello's a fucking otaku, so that's something.
I think that fits his character very well.
Yeah, like, that's the thing, right? Cringy, but it's accurate to Donatello. Like, that is 100%. Unless you're just like, no, I like the edgy first edition Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, then like that is a completely, like, again, and because, you know, going back to Rise again, it's like this was a new direction and people were kind of so on it. Like, before that, it could be very hard to tell the Turtles apart. And they literally were just like, here are 4 character traits for each of them, so you can tell it apart. Donatello got the nerd character trait, and that's great, and it works for him. And if that's how he's going to be, then in the 80s, that means he liked video games and comics and engineering. And in 2020, that means he likes the same stuff and also anime, so. The only reason Donatello didn't like anime back then was because the writer didn't know it existed. Yeah. Well, again, my only criticism for Rise, besides the fact that apparently Netflix had the series out of order, which is beyond frustrating, but whatever. The only criticism I have of it is that, and like the thing that made me kind of be like, was like the power creep. Because, again, they have the nearly identical characters, 4 words to describe them. And at the beginning of Rise, they're not ninjas. They're teenage, they are mutant, and they are turtles. They are not ninjas in that. At the start of the show, the power creep is incredibly slow. So, that is my one serious criticism for it. But besides that, it's a great show. It's just more comedy than 2012 was, for sure. Pig, were you ever into the Turtles?
I really wasn't.
Damn. What did you have a Saturday morning cartoon thing that you were super into, or no?
Oh yes, Black and White from Mars.
Hot damn, so you're saying out of like, serious, no bit. Are you saying out of things like He-Man, Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and even expanding past the 80s and 90s into like SpongeBob, Ben 10, Generator, all that, you're saying out of all those, you were like, I like the Biker Mice from Mars. I'm
done like the original period. He-Man was a little bit before my time. It wasn't on TV. The big thing is that when I was growing up, I only had the free channels in South Africa, and TMNT was always on the paid channels. So I never saw it growing up. I saw Biker Mice.
Gotcha.
Transformers, I never saw, and it never really appealed to me. I was also a Power Rangers kid. I will admit that. But I think you're talking more animated stuff.
I mean, Power Rangers counts.
And then getting a bit older, yes, I was definitely a Ben 10 kid.
Heck yeah.
I back in the period when, you know, people owned physical media, I had the DVDs of all the original series.
Heck yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. I'm just legitimately, and I get it, because when I was down the shore where I spent so much of my childhood, like, it was capped at 100 channels. It wasn't cable. I don't know, satellite, I guess, but like the service at the campground down the shore here in Jersey, like, it did not have the myriad of channels we would have at home. So like that's what introduced me to like Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon and Ben 10 and stuff. So obviously no judgment if it's just like, no, I saw Biker Mice from Mars and that was my thing. I just, I didn't know if I legitimately didn't know if you were doing a bit or not. If you were just like,
No.
okay.
I was the kid with all the Biker Mice toys.
No, listen, it sounds amazing. I just didn't know. Is there, okay, legitimately, what is like a cool thing you remember about Biker Mice from Mars? Because I'm legitimately curious now that we've established you're not pulling my leg.
Okay. So, what is his name? Modo?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. He's like, he was like my first introduction to an edgy character. So
he was your Sasuke.
Yeah, so like everybody liked Throttle, who was like the main guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Modo was, firstly, he was like the nice guy. He was like super gentle.
Mm-hmm.
But also, oh my god, he's like, right hand isn't a hand, it's a robot hand.
Oh my lord. I forgot that, like, aren't they somewhat like, because I have, so my brother.
Yeah, Vinny's missing like the right side of his face and that's
Yeah.
like a metal eye. God, they were cool.
Because I will say, like, since that was a period after the Turtles, to literally, because before the Turtles, no one could have imagined that being a formula that
the robot
existed.
hand is a laser cannon? Oh my god, this show was so good.
But afterwards, it's just like everyone's like, we need mutant animals that fight crime. So my brother and me started doing a bit where they called Abnimals, which is talking about trivia from that kind of like formula. Street Sharks, Biker Mice from Mars, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, etc. And they did some Biker Mice from Mars. So I did hear some stuff about it. And again, it's not just like, oh, who could ever... Because if we lived in another world, then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would be the same thing, where it's like, that could never be a thing, etc.
Yeah.
So it's not me rolling my eyes. I'm legitimately just like, you were someone who was able to grow up with Biker Mice from Mars, which honestly is interesting, because at a certain point, it's like everyone has access to everything, so... Maybe niche content, isn't someone's thing, yada, 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 whatever,
I mean,
whatever.
Different kind of animation, but I was also a reboot kid.
I didn't know. I mean, I've heard about this, but I've never looked it up, so I'm going to do that right now.
Reboot is fantastic.
A reboot TV show. I'm looking at it. I mean, I like Code Lyoko. Oh, yeah, no, this has worse animation than Code Lyoko already. And
it's worth noting, that's partly because of its age.
Yes, for sure. I mean, you can, if you don't know Code Lyoko,
First fully 3D animated TV show.
Then I give complete respect to it. Like if it is that legitimately that old and like historic, because no one knew what they were doing when 3D became a thing in video games and was thinking of in TV shows. So you can't really be like, I'm gonna shit on it. It's like, no, they were figuring it out. Shut up. I just like Code Lyoko because I think even though Code Lyoko forehead is a whole thing, I think the 3D animated segments kind of look well because they're not too fugly that you're fully brought out of it. While also it kind of works that it's just like they're in the digital world right now. It doesn't look perfect.
I only saw a few episodes of Code Lyoko. I never really got into the story.
Yes. Well, that's the other thing. I think the premise, writing, 2D animated segments are pretty good, especially by, as far as your Saturday morning cartoons good. And granted, there's a lot of really good Saturday morning cartoons. I'm just saying, they got their formula down, It's just, I think the main point of contention is whether or not you can agree that the 3D segments look good. But I liked it because they legitimately had because I do like the charm of 3D shows reusing so many locations, etc., etc., etc. But with that, I like that Code Lyoko had a reason for it. It's just like the digital world is split up into 4 areas we determine the troubles in one area, we go there, we fix it, we come back, yada yada yada. And I enjoy that. It's fun. Again, good formula.
I enjoy you. You're fun.
You're fun. You're fun. Saw reboots in the prime. I had to do research on it for my comic, and they have an insane character art I didn't know about. Well, that's the thing, because I mean that in sport, that at the end of the day, Saturday morning cartoon inspires a lot of my storytelling, and I'm sure that does with a lot of people. But I like your Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is obviously the best example.
Oh, Deadpan is talking about Enzo. I'm so happy you brought it up because it is the best character arc in the whole show.
I'm glad we got 2 reboot fans in the house tonight. I'm turning on my fan real quick and then I'm continuing this. Hup.
Cahill makes noise. I appreciate it.
I thought I broke my fan for a second. What was I thinking of? Oh yeah, what I was gonna say. I mean, Avatar is like one of the best TV shows ever, and I will never back down on that. It's so funny. I've said this before, but I used to be like, when I was really thinking about comparing media, I'm like, can you compare Avatar: The Last Airbender to like Game of Thrones? And then Game of Thrones ended on a shit note, so now there is no comparison. Avatar is better.
Okay, but I feel like Avatar was better throughout.
Yes. But what I'm saying is, I like Avatar is the best show to ever do it, but I like the formula of silly up front with a background plot that slowly comes more into the foreground until
Hello there, Paula.
Hello, Paula. Until the show is like super serious, super focused on that main plot line, and we are in the end game now. That kind of stuff. I was always a big fan of that formula. Zuko here. Yeah. I mean, I've also talked before about how not every fucking character needs a redemption arc, but I get it. You want another Zuko, because Zuko was the best thing to ever exist, so.
But I genuinely think one of the strengths of Avatar is that some people don't get redeemed. It's not that some people are irredeemable, but Azula never seeks it out. She never wants it.
Yeah, I mean, same with Avatar Ozai. He refuses to change. And I mean, in the comics and stuff.
Okay, no, you said Avatar Ozai, and that's a terrible thought.
Oh, I forgot. Fire Lord Ozai.
Yes.
I mean, we don't know the history of the world. The oldest, besides Wan and Korra, the oldest Avatar we know the official name for, I believe, is Seto. We might know a couple before him, but we know the last cycle, Seto, which is the fire one before Karuk, and then we don't know anyone before that. So maybe Ozai is a super traditional Fire Nation name, and there was an Avatar Ozai because it would be like Avatar Bill in our world.
I kind of like that idea.
And it's aged poorly. He's in this. Ty Lee's fine. I mean, she doesn't.
Ty Lee and May both have like one moment at the end where they're not shitheads.
I mean, I would argue they're never shitheads. They're a threat because they're highly skilled, and Azula's like, we're forming a gang, get on, and they're like, okay. But I'm trying to think, what's the worst thing they do? Because I mean, anything really bad, and Azula ends up doing. They're just kind of her bodyguards, if anything. So when she betrays Azula for turning. Well, yeah, that's their big thing. They're like, yada, yada, yada. But by the end, everyone is just like, okay, you guys are fine now. Who cares? Like, I feel like that's literally a note. Because everyone's just like, it was a very bad war. You guys did not do the worst of it. Okay. Hey, Pig, question.
Uh-huh.
Do you know much about the Spanish Inquisition, the Spanish conquistadors, rather?
I know that they had cool armor.
Do you know what kind? Oh, go on.
Hmm?
Do you know what kind of flag they flew?
I don't.
Okay.
Would you like me to look it up?
If you want to. If you can find a definitive design for their conquistador cross. I could do that.
Oh,
I could pull a
So-
bunk beer.
there are two.
What's that? Send them both in Discord if you please.
Oh, so there's one that you're more likely to be able to draw if
Mhm.
you're a human being.
Yes.
Um,
You go
there's
on.
another one that's just like 15,000% cooler. This is the cooler one. That's not what I meant to copy.
The cooler one is a starry bunny. Shout out to a starry bunny. Because apparently that's a flag.
That's the one that's going to be impossible.
No, I can do that. I could do that.
This is the one that's more realistic, and from what I can see is actually much more common. It is the old Spanish flag.
Old Spanish flag. I cannot
If
see
that
that.
ever loads.
I know, I was about to say. I'm just trying to see it. We're doing a Spanish pirate with Spanish roots and everything. I'm hoping to animate the character of off screen so that way it can be a Patreon thing.
There we go.
Okay, that's what I thought it was. I wanted to
Yeah.
double check. Okay, if that's what comes up for everyone, I had done research on this before. And also
Yeah.
that works for a Jolly Roger. So that's why I'm like, does that work? So, listen. I made a controversial take, but I'm making the Spanish conquistadors bad guys. Guys, guys.
That's a really niche thought.
Listen, guys. I know. We don't like to think about it or accept it, but well, I'm going to draw it, Juice. I'm going to draw what the flag is going to look like. If you would give me a second, Lord. Anyway, I know it's a niche thought, guys, but I'm thinking, expansionist empires and colonialism, not cool. You know, maybe
So-
not the best thing.
So just to be clear, this is definitely the one they would have used. It was used from 1506 to 1842, so it's the right period.
Perfect.
It's called the Cross of Burgundy flag. It is a military flag that was also used as a flag of the Spanish Empire and its overseas territories. It's
Okay.
definitely the flag.
Okay, because so I had done research on this months ago, but then I never got to animate ever again. And I was like, and when I went to do a cursorily, because symbols are symbols, so multiple people use them. And when I went to do a
Yeah.
cursory Google, it was just like, for France, and I was like, not France. That's not who I mean. I mean, there were French pirates, but also shout out to Henry Avery, who was the inspiration for Goldie Roger in One Piece, and also got away with the biggest pirate treasure in history before disappearing off the map, not being caught, disappearing, which is like, even if you have a short pirate career, that's a pretty good pirate career. And then also, I'm gonna look up, I forget her name and I need to remember it. Zheng Yishao. She's the best.
Oh, the greatest pirate of all time.
The pirate, if there is a Goldie Roger in real life,
It was her.
it was her. She was the pirate queen. So I imagine I will adapt her as long as I get to do more of these, I will adapt her at some point. And one, she's not going to be an animal like some of the characters. Like in this world, humans are just other animals, and you're either a anthropomorphic hippo or you're a guy. And she's just going to be a person, because I'm just like, no, this is straight up going to be her. And I want to do like artistic choices in this that would not have been like done if it was actually in the 1920s. And from what I looked up, she specifically commanded a fleet known as because she was part of a larger pirate organization, and she had the Red Flag fleet. So what I was thinking is her flag would just be a Jolly Roger, a standard Jolly Roger, except in a black and white cartoon, it is the only spot of red in the entire film and everything. So
That's a cool idea.
yes, so it's just like, oh, and then Like, and I imagine by the time she shows up, like my boys, we're gonna have, listen kids, we're gonna have a bit of a power creep in this 1920s Rubber Hose cartoon. And if you're like, Cahill, that's insane. Well, guess what? I'm an insane person. Please get me help and medication at this very moment. It's a cry for help. But regardless, by the time they meet her, they'll be pretty strong, but they're still gonna be like, oh, fuck, it's the Pirate Queen. That's the Queen of the Pirates over there. We're not gonna fight the Queen. We're not gonna fight the Queen of the Pirates. Are you kidding me? She's Queen of the Pirates. So, good for her. It's a Cahill's psychiatrist photo, and I don't know. I'm not about to schedule that in. I have good friends and a support system in real life. While it'd be nice to see a therapist to talk about stuff and work through things, I'll be fine. And I'm not gonna be like, okay guys, pay for my therapy. My trauma is what makes me fun and quirky and what makes people come to the stream. So I might as well use what I got while I got it. Touching grass isn't enough. You need to... Yeah, I was about to say, Juice. You're one to talk, aren't you? Pig, you're mentally stable amongst our friend group, so...
Cahill, do you remember the last time I was speaking in your stream?
I forget what you were saying. What were you saying?
You don't remember when I was going buck wild?
Oh, yeah.
He was being horny on Maine.
He was being horny on Maine. But Juice, Pig, what I needed to do, because I feel mentally stable next to Juice, I need you to lock you in a room with them, and you'll just talk for a while, and when you come out, you'll be like, ah, I'm okay.
You're just not gonna drop that and then move on like you didn't say it. What?
Am I wrong, Juice?
No. Everybody shut up. Everybody shut up. I just found out about a real person
Yes.
whose name was George Gay Hull.
Hell yeah. Pig is
George Gay Hull. Absolutely amazing.
Was he a pirate, or is he just a guy?
He's just a guy.
Sick. It would have been a good pirate.
He died in 1919. And he's buried in Manly Cemetery.
Heck yeah! Heck yeah! Heck yeah! Where he's with the dudes and the bros! Anyway. But no, Juice, you're my good friend and I worry about you a lot, so I just want everything to be okay. Trying to think.
See more whole memorials in Manly
I'm going... Pig, are you just on the Twitter account that gives you funny historical names?
I mean, yes, but now I'm at findagrave.com.
Oh, good. Oh, that's a wild website. Anyway. I'm legitimately waiting to see if I get into Blue Sky, because the moment I am, I'm just like, jumping ship! I heard this other one's pretty good, and this one's coming down. I haven't said this out loud, but the moment www.twitter.com stops bringing me to the site, I stop using it. Because there's no way I'm typing the other thing in. Not on a Christian computer, are you kidding me?
Have you seen what Twitter Blue has been renamed to?
Yeah, it's very bad. Everything's bad at the moment.
And so it is incredible that businesses are going to be getting bills for X Premium.
Yes. Someone... Oh, Lord. Anyway. So, my proposition for everyone here is to abandon society and come be a pirate crew with me. Because, honestly, that sounds better at the moment. I kind of drew a tit. But now that I've zoomed out, it's not a silhouette of a tit anymore, so... Calm down, Twitch.
It could be.
It could be. It could be, but it's not. It's a folded up black flag. It is a folded up copy of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Which is very good.
Yes, I just wish sailing was better.
Okay, this is my slightly hot take.
What's that?
That is the best game in the Assassin's Creed series.
I think most people.
And the worst Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Because all of the things that make it good are not the Assassin's Creed things.
I like the Assassin's Creed. So, I think I've talked about this before, about how, I love Sea of Thieves where it's sailing, but Assassin's Creed 4 has better like island stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
Like being able to run around a port town and stuff like that is super great, and that is where it is benefited from being an Assassin's Creed game. Because I don't think anyone who's just making a pirate game would be like, pirate parkour must be one of our core systems. But they knew it was like, oh no, that has to be a thing we add. Which kind of helps out because that means you get this really cool, beautiful environment both in nature and in the towns, and you just get to climb all the fuck over it, which is fantastic. So, that's the only pushback I have to your take, Pig, is that being able to do parkour around the map is not something that would be in a normal pirate game, and is super good in that one.
I don't think the parkour is central to Assassin's Creed. I think assassinations and taking missions are, and those are both awful. They take away from all of the best parts of that game. I think if you took those parts out and it was just pirate parkour, you would have the perfect game.
I think if I was able to hold a town hostage like a real pirate, and then kill anyone I wanted to like a real pirate...
Okay. do you want to know real Assassin's Creed hot take?
What's that?
Assassin's Creed 3 is the best one.
I remember liking it because it had sailing in it, and I didn't finish it though because at that point I had played a lot of them, and I was just like, I'm moving on to a different one.
I hope there are no Assassin's Creed fans in the chat because they are not my fans at this point.
I mean, I don't know. Go when do you stream next, Pig? Shout it out. Shout it out for everyone here. What?
Wednesday.
You can just ask your chat then, be like, hey, do any of you like Assassin's Creed, like hardcore? And if and when they're like no, then you're just like, I'm safe. I'm among friends here. I love the part in the rubber hose animation where it just becomes a black blob. It's the best part.
I mean, that's the best part of everything. Black Blob.
Which is the new X-Men villain. and it was immediately removed. Juice, were you the one? No. I feel like I talked to someone about
Oh no,
the
Paula.
incredibly racist superhero.
Paula, that is awful.
Oh.
Can
I
you
don't-
get to a dentist soon?
Oh, like now?
Yeah, like an emergency dentist idea.
Sorry about that, Paula. Hope you... Also, Paula, I would push back on that. That doesn't sound fun. But yeah, there's been some bad comic characters, to no one's surprise. Comics! I'll say it a million times if I have to. Comics run the gambit between some of the best fiction ever created to the worst thing I've ever read. So, they're fun like that. For every One Piece, there is a Spider-Man No Way Home.
God, I forgot how good this music is.
Not No Way Home, it's what fucking... One More Day, that's what it is.
Which is the loose inspiration.
I forgot, but my subconscious knew that, and I didn't think about it.
But then No Way Home did this weird thing of having a meaningful plot and competently told story. Like,
But this...
it is not the best, but by comparison to the source material,
Much better. Agreed. Agreed. But then it did this other thing where it tried to imitate another Spider-Man movie, but turn up the fan service. And that didn't really have any bearing on anything that happened there. So, you know.
yeah, I genuinely one of the strengths of Spider-Verse is that the multiverse is central to the plot. The multiverse is the inciting incident. It is the entirety of why anything is happening.
It is the message of the story, being that
Yeah.
Spider-Man, you can be Spider-Man if you step
Yeah.
up to the challenge.
Whereas in a lot of multiverse movies, I think maybe that's why I feel differently about them. In a lot of multiverse movies, it feels kind of tacked on, which is why, like, I did enjoy it, but Multiverse of Madness is fine.
But Pig, they went to a universe where red meant green. Oh,
It's wild. But
I'm
that's
losing
why-
my mind.
Like, obviously, much better film. But part of the reason the multiverse doesn't feel tacked on in Everything Everywhere All at Once is because, again, the multiverse is the inciting incident. It is the core of the film.
I mean, I feel like, for speaking personally, the two reasons to have a multiverse in your film is so, one, different like laws of physics and like weird environments can be put in there for hopefully meaningful reasons, but regardless, it's so you can have, you know, more surreal imagery and everything. Or because it deals with identity, which I believe Everywhere All at Once does, and so does Spider-Verse. So with that,
I argue that the identity story point is a much stronger one.
I mean, yes, but but to push back on that, I would argue no films really ever bothered to get that surreal with the multiverse, like, you know, scenery and stuff like that. They always kind of.
I just feel that unless that is plot crucial, it is going to feel unnecessary. Whereas when a story is about identity, the multiverse, that's something I didn't quite pick up. So good job on that. But yeah, when a story is about identity, the multiverse is by definition central because the multiverse calls into question identity.
Yeah, but also I would argue again, because I mean it's a thing in movies to use different color grading and lighting and shot composition, in order to, what was I thinking of? In order to kind of like pose different scenes and convey the different emotions. And typically what that is, I was blanking on this word earlier, but it's non-diegetic, which means like in the world of the movie, it doesn't exist. But if you do a multiverse where the story and journey the characters are happening upon, kind of, you know, changes the location very frequently with surreal images, then that stuff can be diegetic, which is both fun for the audience to watch, and when you kind of sit down and dissect it more, it makes like, you know, it at that point, you're right, it's not story important, but it does become like film important. It's important for the visuals.
Yes.
And again,
I'm not saying multiverse can't be interesting otherwise, but I just feel like I feel like identity is the strongest story to tell from that perspective.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm only holding up on this point because that's what I've always wanted to do with a multiverse story, and
I also feel like that's the kind of thing that is probably better done in like a medium other than film. In animation. In animation, you can go way wilder with the crazy things you can do.
Pig, I know I only recently made it personal for me, but I can't believe you would even suggest that I would ever try and do live action. You absolute mad person.
I'm not suggesting you. I'm just saying, like, you saying you want to do something makes sense to me because this is the right medium for it.
Oh yeah. Also,
whether it's animated or like the comic, there's so much more opportunity in a medium that doesn't have to adhere to realism at like any point to explore that unrealism.
Also, Paula, real quick back to you. I do want to say I'm glad there's no pain, but still,
yes.
I would elevate just to make sure that nothing goes wrong. Maybe elevate the idea of a dentist visit if it strikes your fancy. Obviously, it's up to you. Me and Pig don't know, but still, always want to make sure you're okay. But anyway. What I was going to say is, like, and I've talked before about how, like, for example, the Pokemon movies were a big idea with me going into animation and stuff like that. And part of that is, like, the background imagery and a lot of different anime background imagery. Like, for example, in older traditional animes, I forget where I would see it, but I would see, like, the city backgrounds they would do for it, almost like in, like, Akira, or maybe even, like, your Digimons or stuff like that. And I like how it was recognizable but also surreal. Like, for example, even though I was going to criticize movies for being like, it's this but twist, you know, like, no, make it unrecognizable. But for example, Gotham City in Batman the Animated Series, it was a consequence of the medium it was in that they couldn't have like crowds of people in the city and stuff most of the time.
Yeah.
But I like it being like, this is an Art Deco city constantly at night, and there is no one on the street. No one is out here. It is abandoned. And I like the idea.
I will say I consider that to be the most iconic representation of Gotham City.
Oh yeah. But, well, because it's, again, animation means you don't have to just actually make it like Philadelphia or something.
Right. Because you can rise above, like, the bounds of realism, you can make, as you said, a city that's never existed. And it is fantastic.
Also, Sal, to your point, they didn't even need the multiverse for San Francisco. They just wanted to do it, and they did it, which is great. But regardless, what I was going to get to is I like the idea of just like, hey, I want to put this in a city, but no one's going to be there. It's just going to be our characters. It's going to be an empty city. Why is that? I don't know. It's the multiverse. They landed in a world where there are cities but no people. Fun, fun, fun. Yada, 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 etc., etc. I want this to be an endless, salt. I want this world to be an endless salt lake where there is a centimeter of water across an endless plain and nothing but sky above you, etc., etc., etc. Like, weird looking stuff that maybe kind of resembles nature in our world, but otherwise is not like something you would expect to exist in anywhere in reality and everything.
Not to pull this back to the only thing I ever think about, but one of my favorite bits of world building in Xenoblade Chronicles 1 is like at the start they say like there's like an endless sea, and then like the two titans in that sea. And when in a semi-fantasy setting, characters talk about an endless sea, what it means is like the whole world is an ocean, right?
Yeah.
But it's not. There is no planet. It is an endless
No, that's
flat
exact.
plane. And what I like is they actually like worked on the world building of that. The sun doesn't move across the sky because there's no planet rotating. The sun just appears during the day and disappears at night.
That's what I'm talking about. And I think the benefit of, being of what they don't do, because they're cowards and they're just trying to do it so that comics did it so they could tell different stories, and that's fine because, it's led to some good stuff, so who cares? But movies did it because comics did it, and they did it weaker because they're not telling different stories, they're just slapping multiverse onto it. And they're not bothering to use surreal imagery with their stuff. Like, the most surreal it gets is like, heck, the most surreal Multiverse of Madness gets is a world that is considered ruined, which means this is not how it's supposed to look, which is disappointing because otherwise it's just New York, and who gives a shit about New York?
The thing is, what you get these little vignettes of what could be amazing worlds. There's like the Paint world.
There's the one with the living
through for 2 seconds.
There's the one with the living tribunal everywhere, which is, I mean, I love him and I love the fact that he's just like around in that place, but fucking they don't do anything with him.
There's one where they're like weird origami, but all of those are gimmicks. Like that does not add to the movie. If you edited those out, it would not affect anything.
It's the fun thing to put in the commercial, and something the artist actually enjoyed doing.
It's frustrating because you have so much opportunity. Like, minor spoilers for Across the Spider-Verse, or whatever the second one is called.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You're right.
One of the things I like so much about there is when you see segments in Gwen's world, it's a completely different art style. I
was going to say that it can be disappointing because the two other worlds because Gwen's world is just New York again, and then Pav's and Miguel's is New York, but X happens or whatever. But on the other hand, to the film's benefit, they don't just do that as like a whatever. They do it and they completely change the imagery of the film to match it, which is much better. Like, it's not necessarily more surreal, but it is better for looking at it.
And it works to the movie's benefit so much because it feels like a different place entirely.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
your perception of every single frame is unique.
I literally just watched Spider-Verse for the second time, and I will say, like, I thought of it both times of like, I mean, obviously I think Miles was just like, listen, I'll go after Gwen, and fucking they'll send me back eventually because they literally have a little device right there that can do that. But Miles is the guy who hasn't been to another universe before, and he just jumps in, and all of a sudden he's not just in a different city, he's in a different world. And what would you do? And like, legit, because, you know, Doctor Strange is fucking Doctor Strange. He snaps his fingers and he's on Mars or whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, Spider-Man is a lot of things, but when he's not like fighting crime, he's just a person. What would you do if all of a sudden it's just like, oh, I can't get home. Home doesn't exist here. I don't exist here because it's a different universe. I'm freaking out. So I thought that both times I saw him like jump into Moon, not the portal, like the portal's whatever, but Moonbatten specifically, because all of a sudden he has to navigate getting around it. So I will help out any way I can, Paula. And also, Sal put it the best, where it's like, you can do the multiverse, but make it mainstream. It's like, where I am looking to make, like, completely non-understandable worlds that do not resemble Earth. And, like, a lot of, you know, multiverse movies and media right now are just, like, Earth, except something happened. It's like, that's not the multiverse, that's alt history, and there's other fiction that does it. You're not special, stop putting a label on it. So Rick and Morty, to the few credits I can give it, will occasionally do something like that, but it's more for gags, and the other times, which is more frustrating, is just like, it's a different Rick, and it's like, I don't fucking like Rick. Why do I want more of him? I don't. No one does.
The one thing I find interesting about Rick and Morty, and I've only seen a few episodes because I hate the show, but what I find interesting is, firstly, they establish like multiverse travel right up front in like episode 1.
Yeah.
This is at no point considered a twist. It is just the rules of the world. But also, like, the whole show takes place in an alternate universe, because in like episode 1 or 2, they destroy their original universe.
Yes.
If I remember.
And also,
and I think that is at least the point.
that show has good elements, but it's not all that in a bag of chips. Honestly, and I'm gonna get crucified for saying this, but like, I rag on Steven Universe for pacing. Like, I would almost argue Rick and Morty has a similar kind of issue. It's almost worse, and it's on purpose instead of being a result of the, you know, was it like they get a regular schedule, they get a regular production schedule and stuff like that, and they still choose to be like, okay, this episode we're going to deal with depression and serious things, the next episode we're in the fart dimension and Rick's an asshole again, and it's just like, I don't, oh lord.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not talk about this more because I don't want people to seriously, because if you like it, that's good, you can enjoy the show, fantastic, but also, you know, people not to bring up old wounds, but people destroyed a McDonald's over it, so just like, you know, that's all.
Oh
calm
lord, I
down a bit.
forgot that.
I forgot about that. Everything less unrealistic. Yeah, well, that's, I mean, again, that's both as a kid, because as a kid I wasn't so up on a soapbox about it, but I did think about it, about like the concept art looks better than the finished movie. Why is that? It's because fucking Pixar and everyone trying to copy Pixar just kind of went with the same thing when making their, you know, their 3D movies and stuff like that. They didn't actually get that wild with the looks, both because they were following a formula most times, and what was I thinking of? And the technology. So, like, you know, they couldn't, like, they were making stuff to make Toy Story, so hats off to them for that. But, you know, I think by the 20th year, by 2019, I was sick of it. If I wasn't sick of it the year before, I was sick of seeing the same movie over and over again, so. Animation's fun. I love shitting on animation. It's my favorite thing to do. Did you know that?
I kind of did.
No. Oh, no. I don't. I'm glad people make art. And that's the thing, because I'm glad, again, I want to say it again, I'm glad Elemental did well, at the very least in other markets, if not here. It might have started doing well here, but you know, that wasn't the report. But it did make a lot of money, and that's all I care about, because maybe it was Pixar trying to pull at my heartstrings, whatever. I'm not going to jump into conspiracy theories about a movie I don't care that much about, because I didn't see it. But you know, like, so someone did care about the movie to make it and conceive it. So I don't want their dreams to be crushed just because I was like, I don't like how the characters look necessarily. I don't like how a lot of things look. But that doesn't mean I destroy them. I'm just like, that's neat. I'm gonna do something else now. There is only one piece of media I don't think should be around, and I won't say what it is because we're not going to talk about it. It is a comic thing, though. No. No, I like Ruby still. I don't like talking about it on...
It's Chronicles, isn't it?
No.
I can't believe you would say that.
It is a comic, and it's not very good, and if anything, it's kind of hateful, which is why I'm like, this is ugly. But besides that, everything else is cool. Just don't put hate in things, you know? Put love into stuff. I don't know why I have to say don't make awful things to exist in the world, but I guess I need to. Please don't make awful things to exist in the world. We have had enough of that. But yeah. I don't want people guessing at it like, you don't want this series? No, I'm saying I don't know what it's rated as actually, like the source material, but it should be rated like X or something, because it's just gory and not very nice to look at, or in my opinion read. So, but people are like, this is good, and I'm like, I don't believe you. But yeah, I'm not gonna keep dropping hints. Yeah, make something because you love stuff, not because you hate stuff. I forget. I believe I talked about this very recently, where it's like cinema wins, being like some movie is someone's favorite everywhere. So, you know, we try to see why, and that's true. I think it tends to be so much better to be like, this is what this movie did good, and even if the movie overall is not that great, maybe you should be like, what could we do to make this but better, you know, etc., etc. I think that's a much better way of looking at things, because it just ends up giving us lots of more cool stuff that we can like. Pig, what's a piece of media you've enjoyed recently?
I rewatched The Lion King last night, and it's incredible.
Yes. See, so not to rag on things, but I will just say, one of the reasons I don't like the remakes is just because, like, for something like The Lion King, there was other movies in production at the time of The Lion King being made, and Disney as a company was betting on those ones succeeding, and then Lion King became one of the biggest movies of all time. So I think that, and like Robin Williams as the genie, make irreplaceable things as moments, which is why I'm just like, you're not doing anything by remaking it. You're just kind of, you know, it's just kind of a shadow. A shadow of a shadow. What else was I thinking of? I was reading Berserk, and I will say, like I said, there are lots of content warnings for it, but one, the art is incredible. Kentaro Miura was, like, Super Eye Patch Wolf mentioned how, like, when he redid a Berserk video for Miura's passing, like, he was just he was correcting some things, and one of the things he was correcting was like, I don't think it was good for me to be like, he's so talented, because he worked hard for it, and that's true. But also, he's so talented. Some of like the earliest chapters in Berserk look like masterpieces edged onto stone in France somewhere. Like, it's insane. But I also think it's interesting because I had heard that Miura talked about how he wished he had toned down some of the, you know, more content warning induced things that he put in the earlier chapters. And I think that actually only kind of heightens my enjoyment because it lets me know like this is bad. Obviously, like that's the point of it being there. But even the creator knows like, hey, I shouldn't have gone this far with some things. I should have brought it back a couple feet, you know? So that's nice to hear. Like someone recognizes like, hey, there's better ways to. I know what I can improve in my stuff. So neato. I want to at least draw an alligator skull. Let me draw an alligator skull. I am very interested how a lot of lizards work, because I heard that snakes can't feel love. I don't necessarily believe that, just like I don't necessarily believe that, like, you know, fish can't feel anything, but, you know, I think that is the height of human hubris to say, we know how an animal thinks. We've mapped the brain so completely that we just know how everything works. I remember hearing that, like, we had mapped, like, a rat's brain, and it took, like, terabytes of information to keep the entire map stored on a drive, so...
Oh, yeah.
And that was one rat. One individual rat made for testing, so... We are babes in the woods when it comes to knowing about the universe and life. Beg, has this stream gotten too trippy and preachy, or or are we good?
It's good. Don't worry.
Okay. Let me know when it gets too preachy. So here's what you should be doing in your life in order to really be a good person. No.
You should evangelize some people.
You should. I should. Guys, I have an idea. What if, and hear me out, this is out there. What if I told people that the being that created everything wanted them to give me money, so they would give me money? I think that might work.
No, that sounds better.
That sounds right.
I like the streams when Cahill turns into
Yeah. I like when Cahill got on PBS and started being a T-bit. I like how he was after Bob Ross. Like, that was cool.
Anyway, you will be pleased to know I've now written a full summary of Xenoblade 1 and its DLC.
Oh, heck yeah. Like,
It is 29 pages.
have you written... Is it like a script, though, or is this your notes being
No,
like...
this is the script.
Okay.
Juice, it still has to be edited, and I can probably cut out, like, 5 pages.
Honestly, I might, like, ask. It's up to you, obviously, and not everyone should go bother Barry with questions, but, I mean, given that he has experience in that stuff.
Yes, I've already asked Barry what software he used for the editing, but I am going to ask him some advice on, like, actually editing the script.
Well, I was also going to say, maybe if you were going to do script questions already, maybe try asking him, like, hey, what is roughly, like, a page of script in video time for you, you know?
That's a shockingly good question.
Because, like, and, like, you should recognize, because he'd probably point out, like anyone would, that, you know, that changes based on what the script is saying, but...
No, obviously, but there's a rough...
Yeah, but roughly, as long as you don't... as long as you're not, like, put the entirety of Xenoblade 1 in this... right here, then he, you know, then roughly, like, if you're just talking at a normal narrator pace, then he should be able to tell you, like, this is roughly, you know, that amount of time in a page.
Yeah.
So... I like my friend Pig creating stuff. I wish I would finally fucking make something. Like, I don't know, a cartoon? That'd be great. I wish I had money. I wish I had money to make a cartoon. But, hey guys, let me tell you something. Donations are not going to fix that. That would be thousands of dollars. I hope that, you know, strikes in Hollywood end soon so I know how much I should be paying artists, because I would like to pay artists to help me. Help me. I'm not a guild member, but that's because I haven't worked in the animation industry yet, so... There's an easy fix for that. Someone fucking hire me. I appreciate
Anyway,
you.
it's getting a little bit late, so I'm at dinner.
I'm actually, yep, I'm probably gonna end stream here because
Oh, cool.
I mean, you can still go, you don't have to stay for like wrap up and stuff, but I'm just gonna say because I'm just roughly getting, you know, the idea is instead of like flowing and like the flag goes down, what we've done here is we've made the flag scrunch up and slide down the pole in one clean thing, and then a new scrunched up flag flies right up and then pops open into a very clear image of what the Jolly Roger looks like. So I'm very honestly pretty good work. Not a lot, but it's something. And you know what? We take those W's. So I appreciate Pig and everyone for being here. You guys are great. Alligator. Hey, Druce, you say that, but fucking I'm going to make a group of pirates called the Alley Cat Pirates. So, and their captain will be named Alley, and it will be a bunch of cats because I like the pun.
Anyway, bye.
Bye. I love you. I would like to raid. You know what? How about we raid Nicole? Yeah, let's raid Nicole. I like Nicole. Nicole's neato. But I appreciate you guys for being here. Y'all are great. I'm just gonna be working on more animation tomorrow. Maybe we'll start a new scene. Maybe we'll still be working on this scene. Honestly, we're basically done this scene already. I just need to do some in-betweens and finish drawing the flags, so it's like we'd be doing 2 frames, and I'd rather just make more progress on the rest of the stuff. Yeah. I'm so glad they're making a new Dracula movie. We need more Dracula. It's so wild to think about how many adaptations of Dracula there are. Someone was pointing out before how many adaptations of Snow White there are, and I'm like, oh lord. But yeah. Thanks y'all for coming, and I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Bye!